Hi, everyone. My name is David Sopkin, and today we are going to talk about normalization as it pertains to software asset management. Now, you're probably thinking, what is normalization? Well, let's dive right in. So to start, before we can normalize data, we have to discover data. And if you're looking off to the left here, you will see our discovery data. And there's really three key fields that we need to capture for software asset management. That would be publisher, product, and version. Now, one thing that you'll note is these values can come back rather messy, right? We have MSFT, Project Pro, 16.0. Forever. Microsoft loves to do that in terms of versioning. Now, how do we fix that? Well, we will run that through our content library. And essentially what we have is millions of mapping rules depending upon the discovery source and how the data comes in. But essentially, we will run that through our content library and normalize or flatten that data. Off to the right, you will see that we have the normalized data. Again, those three key fields of publisher, product, and version. Now, if you look at the values off to the right, you will see that we have a very clean Microsoft Project 2016. And the reason this is important is because when you purchase an entitlement for something like Microsoft Project, you purchase it for Microsoft Project 2016, not 16.0. Forever. So when you're looking at your software estate and you have all of these different versions, they might all roll up to the same entitlement. So by flattening the data or normalizing the data, we can help you make sense of that. On top of the normalization, we will also enrich this data. Here's where we start to peel off Pro from the discovered product. If you look off to the right, is now part of Edition because Professional is actually the Edition. We'll also help you to classify the software. Here's where we look at things like management, whatever bucket the software fits into. And then finally, we look at the last two here where we have lifecycle data. This is going to be dates or information, things like general availability, end of support, end of extended support. Some very useful data that can help us plan and get ahead of things before it's a problem. And finally, we round this out with whether or not it is licensable. All right, so what are the steps to actually make this happen within your environment? It's really these three simple steps. The first step is to discover your software installations, right? This could be ServiceNow discovery. It could be Microsoft SCCM, a JAMP, something similar like a Terius. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the software installations and load them into the proper table within the CMDB. The next step is to aggregate the software discovery models. Here's where we're taking the raw software installations and we are putting them into what we would call a discovery model. So here's where we look at the discovered product, or I'm sorry, the discovered publisher, product, and version. And then finally, step three is where we normalize the software, right? This is where we take that messy discovered data, we turn it into that very clean or flattened Microsoft Project 2016, and again, we enrich the data with those additional fields that you see. The final concept that I want to talk about in today's session is our software normalization loop. Off to the left, you see you, right? That's the customer instance. And off to the right, you see this thing called content service. What does that mean? Well, you should really think of this research team as an extension of your asset management team. And I'm going to show you why. So they're going to do work, right? It's going to go into the content library. Those library updates will be sent to you weekly. So as we're keeping up with the ongoing software landscape, they're constantly doing that work for you. They're sending you library updates weekly. Now, if you look at the bottom left of the slide, you'll see typically we're going to normalize 85% or greater out of the box in our first few passes. Well, if you look in the bottom right, how do we get you to 95% or greater in terms of your normalization percentage? It's by leveraging our research team. What's going to happen is unrecognized procurement, discovery, and lifecycle data will be sent back to our research team. Basically, this says we didn't have a rule to normalize this data for one reason or another. What they will do is all the homework for you so you don't have to, so you can concentrate on tasks that actually matter to you. They will then validate the updates, and those library updates will not be sent back just to you, but to all of our software asset management professional users. So that's the beauty. It's really an idea of crowdsourcing. You're helping your fellow software asset management pro customers, and they're helping you. So it's really a great way to just continually improve your normalization percentage and make sure that you're keeping up to date with the trends. With that, I would like to thank you, and I hope this time was well spent.